Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another edition of SwissBorg's Market Outlook. This week, we'll be taking a look at losses in the stock market, at new inflation data, renewed interest in crypto activity. We'll be taking a quick look at CHSB and its performance in the last week. And finally, we'll be taking a bit of a broader look at the gaming space related to blockchain and play-to-earn games. Starting off this week, we'll be taking a look at the stock market, at losses in the stock market since the start of 2022, and at the arrival of new inflation data. So, as you know, since the start of 2022, the stock market has lost a lot of its value. A lot of monetary value was lost there. Same with in the crypto assets, the crypto market. A lot of prices fell, a lot of negative news since the start of the year related to the Russian war, inflation, gas prices, interest rate hikes, and in general, a looming fear of a recession that might be upcoming. So as you can see there, as the graph shows you, the S&P 500 is actually almost back to pre-COVID-19 levels, which we're looking at a time gap or a horizon of 2 years back, which is really quite astounding, especially when we keep in mind that potential effects of a recession next year or whenever that may happen might not even be priced in. Not only is the S&P 500 almost back at pre-COVID-19 levels, and in general, stock markets are not performing extremely well, but tomorrow actually, so on Thursday, the new inflation data will be coming out. And as you will have seen from recent market movements, inflation data at the moment really is guiding markets up or down, or is a very strong signal and market moving event. Therefore, it'll be very interesting to see if inflation is finally managed to decrease a little bit. As the chart there shows you, we're really at almost historical levels when we look at a 20 to 30 year time frame. So hopefully that won't be increasing again. If the data tomorrow is negative or worse than expected, expect to see a shift in the markets following this news. If it's better than expected, expect to see an upward move, at least in the short term. So although stock markets and the crypto markets at the moment are relatively bleeding, especially when looking compared to, let's say, a couple of years ago, or even to the start of 2022, nonetheless, it's very important to look at how relevant crypto is and keeps continuing to be, and more as the days go by, and to really focus on the relevance and the growing relevance of crypto in this sphere and in societies in general. So the first table will show you the year-over-year growth in transaction volume by region. So it shows you, according to a geographical region, how much transaction volumes in only crypto-related assets have been increasing. Now, these numbers are really incredible. If we look back at August 2021 and now at August 2022, even with a lot worse economic conditions at the moment, you can see, for example, in the Middle East, that the year-over-year transaction volume has grown by 50%, Latin America by 40%, North America by 36%, and so on and so forth. But these are really exceptional numbers, and we don't expect these to be decreasing at all in the next year. So really, even in these terrible economic conditions of the moment, we can see that in 1 year, the transaction volumes have increased significantly in each of the geographic regions that are mapped there. The second thing to keep in mind is that awareness of cryptocurrencies is still extremely low. So transaction volumes are increasing, adoption is increasing, but how much people are aware of what a cryptocurrency is and whether they've even ever heard of it is extremely low. So in a massive survey that was conducted, when people were asked what is Bitcoin, 88%, as the table below shows you, managed to explain or at least tell you that yes, they've heard about it or they understand what it is. If you see the gap for just Ethereum, which is the next biggest crypto, that yes level is now at 43%, which shows you that half of the people that have heard of Bitcoin even understand what Ethereum really is. And then if you scale that down to the other smaller tokens, right, comparatively speaking, you see that barely anyone's ever heard of them. So not only is crypto growing in relevance, but it shows you the real potential that is there, just given the fact that pretty much no one's ever heard of all of those other tokens, or would even understand what they really do or how they work in the crypto economy. It presents an incredible potential. So transaction volume is increasing, relevance is increasing, but the awareness is still very low. So the potential for the future is extremely high in this sense. Moving on to a mention this week to CHSB. CHSB, obviously the native token of SwissBorg, has been performing extremely well in the last week and a half, comparatively speaking. So it's pretty much outperforming the majority of the top 200 tokens. Here you will see a snapshot, a screenshot of its positioning in the top 200. And you see amongst the sea of red, amongst all of these other tokens that have lost anywhere from 5 to 10% in the last week or so, SwissBorg is actually the one that is rising, has been increasing 5% in the last week, and is slowly gaining positions also in terms of the market cap rankings. Now, we know that SwissBorg has been coming out with a lot of different initiatives in this bear market, whether that be Earn, Thematics, XBorg, etc. And we can see that at this point it's starting to pay off. This is nowhere near the actual effect that all of these initiatives will have on the long term, but to see the rest of the market bleed and CHSB do so extremely well comparatively is showing very good signs of health. Finally, this week, an interesting mention will be given to the blockchain gaming space, specifically activity in the blockchain gaming space and traditional companies moving there at the moment. So in terms of activity, I presented a snapshot there of the 5 most active games in terms of players, in terms of volumes, in terms of play-to-earn games or play and earn games in the blockchain space, whether that be Solitaire, Blizz, Alien Worlds. That can also be, for example, Upland, that is not even shown on here. But overall, there's been a trend in the last couple of months, in the last also month or so, of renewed activity, renewed volumes, renewed user interest in blockchain gaming. Very interesting to see, because there was a period of stagnation since the start of 2022, obviously with the whole market a little bit crashing, and the interest may be fading away a little bit. Now that interest is renewed, and this is not only shown by the activity and the volumes of these games, but also by traditional companies going blockchain. So therefore, traditional companies somehow moving to the blockchain space or even releasing blockchain games. The first mention here will be given to Sega. Sega is obviously one of the most recognizable names in the gaming industry, really since, what are we talking about here, the 70s or 80s, really since the beginning of the gaming space. And right now they mentioned that they will be releasing their first blockchain game. It's actually based on one of their historical games named Sangokushin Taisen, very, very prominent name from the past in their catalog. And they'll be releasing their first blockchain-related game. The same with, for example, names like Ubisoft, that now has funded a very interesting new card trading game called Skyweaver. So Ubisoft is also dipping their fingers in some blockchain-related games. Last one to mention here, it's not necessarily related to video games, but it's still in the sports, so entertainment, and in this kind of field. It's Karate Combat, which is a Japanese karate league that has now decided to create a DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, to run their Karate Combat institution and to pretty much give voting rights and governance to its members and to whoever wants to participate. It's extremely interesting to see how many traditional companies, both video game specific, but also in the entertainment industry, are now moving towards blockchain-related mechanisms or systems. And it'll be interesting to see how many more will follow, given the increase and mass adoption that's happening at the moment of this space. So thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been informative, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.